This is the Canon R5, and since its release almost 3 years ago, Canon R5 has gone through almost like 15 something firmware upgrade. These firmware upgrades has made this camera so much better as compared to when it was first released. In today's video, we'll look at the news around the major firmware update that was promised for the Canon R5 by Canon and the latest around that. But before we jump into today's video, guys, my name is Azad and I make videos about cinematography, photography, camera gear. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and commenting below for your feedback. This really helps a small channel like this so that I can keep growing and reach a wider audience. Also, if you are new here, I welcome you and do encourage you to check some other content out. And if you are my regular viewer, I welcome you back. Now, since its release, Canon R5 have been massively improved by firmware updates, the latest one being firmware version 1.8.1, which added IBIS high-resolution shot mode to the Canon EOS R5 body. This makes use of the in-body image stabilization system to amplify the sensor's native 45 megapixel resolution to an enormous 400 megapixel, a trick that has been used in other cameras for years, but this is the first one for a Canon body. As a part of this latest firmware, some minor fixes were also addressed. Now, back in March, when Canon released the firmware 1.8.1, there was a bunch of reports in regards to new firmware coming in Q3 for the EOS R5 that would add further features. That timeline does not look it's gonna happen anytime soon. According to Canon rumors, we have been told that any further firmware updates for the EOS R5 will come later in 2023, but that won't be a major feature update. There's still a few things Canon will add, but temper your expectations. So they're already telling you that something to come up, but it's not gonna be anything major, so don't expect much. Now, with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II likely coming in the first half of 2024, we are assuming that the software development resources will be going towards that project, along with the much anticipated the EOS R1. They also added the next camera that will receive probably a major update is going to be the EOS R6 Mark II. So does that mean that the 1.8.1 was the last update for Canon R5? Now, in my opinion, Canon is doing a similar thing like Apple do with their iPhone. I wouldn't be surprised if Canon R5 Mark II is not going to be much different than the original R5, other than having a bigger sensor. Now, when we talk about the sensor size itself, the sensor on the R5 is already really great and still produces excellent results and gives, tough competition to other flagship cameras out there. So let me ask you, would you guys be upgrading from Canon R5 to R5 Mark II when it comes out? If you ask me personally, I am very happy with my R5 and the R5C, which I'm shooting on right now. And doesn't make any financial sense at the moment for upgrading the gear. What I have is really working well for me. I think the R5 with the current update is still going to serve well for several years to come. So guys, if you like this video today, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing all those good things. I will see you guys in my next video very soon. On that note, stay safe and goodbye.